We have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have the...
Bro, everyone in Australia thinks America's cooked, which means we are too. Yeah, when America fucking sneezes, the world catches a cold. And also, the entire world is looking at us in abject horror.
Most activity we've ever had. I'm making a speech tomorrow night, and you'll be hearing me say that. I mean, it's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about.
The president tonight will address both chambers of Congress, the U.S. Supreme Court justices, and members of his own cabinet. The most important viewers of the State of the Union address are the American voters. President Trump is only 1 year into his second term with an aggressive policy agenda for the next 3 years. And a recent Fox poll shows his approval rating on par with Presidents Obama and George W. Bush to this point in the second term. A bit earlier this morning, I sat down with the Faulkner-focused voters' voices ahead of President Trump's big speech. Welcome. Let's meet our voters, left to right. First in the front row, we have Dwayne, a Republican and New York committeeman.
Law, Hasan got so many viewers now that Asmongold is offline. Brother, I have like 6,000 more viewers. That means I have 6,000 additional hogs, which I love. You know? That means his true viewership is like maybe 10K at most. Yeah.
Maria, a Republican voter, and Kevin, an independent.
But yeah, welcome to the roaches. How do you know it's still not bots? Would it be exaggerated? We can check the chatters. Yeah, there's 34,000 chatters. So no, it's not bots. There's 34,800 chatters in here and 42,400 total viewership, which is fairly consistent.
Left to right in the back now. Dylan is here, Republican, Adam in the center, an independent, and Jay on the end, a Democrat. Again, welcome to all of you. Look, I just got some good notes about what the president will be talking about or focusing on in the State of the Union tonight. And the big theme is going to be affordability. And from the prep that you did with my team, I know that that's a big issue with all of you. Jay, I'm going to come to you first and talk with me specifically about what you'd like to hear from the president on that issue tonight.
What I'd like to hear and what I think is going to happen are two different things. What I'd like to hear is the president say, I understand the tariffs have cost the average American person an additional $1,700 a year. I'm going to rework this. If I'm going to really stay committed to this, I'm going to rework this so that we can lower that number, because it is actually being felt, and it hurts a lot of families.
So as a Democrat, you had affordability, no doubt, on your list already with former President Biden. It was a big issue toward the middle to the end of his term. Inflation at one point was 9.1%.
Yes, ma'am.
On his watch. We are almost at the target set by the Federal Reserve of 2%. We're still hovering at 2.3. I just put that information out there. Do you want to hear how he gets us closer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I think under the Biden administration, we went from 9.3-ish% to about 3%. So I think that was a great reduction. And I do not think that we have gone as far as we should have. But, you know, as always, I hope that the president is actually listening and actually making plans to address these things.
Maria, what do you want to hear from him on affordability tonight?
There's the how would universal health care help us achieve lower bill for us on lower income? Asmongold viewer here. Hey man, won't universal health care drive up everyone's bills across the U.S.? Brother, if you're a low income, if you're a low wage worker, you don't even pay anything in health care. Like, you understand that, right? Universal health care lowers the burden that you have from the amount that your wages take. Top of the hour got him. Wait, what? I didn't see that this was a 13-month subscriber. I mean, it's a good question regardless, and I'll answer it, right? If you're a low-wage worker, there is a percentage of your income that your boss takes from you to pay for your private insurance if you're actually fortunate enough to even have a job that pays for health care. Okay? under a universal healthcare system, your tax burden is going to be far lower than the percentage that is taken from your salary. Therefore, you'll have higher wages that and more disposable income, so you can subscribe to the Hasanabi broadcast at the top of the hour, in the middle of the hour, whenever you want to. If you want to support the show, that's all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $6, $7, or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Subscribe now, chatters. The Piker broadcasting service is paid for you by you. Yes. I would go to your funeral. Thank you, Ramen44. Sorry, Chudwig. Take it away. Someone save us from the soundboard. Listen, every time you say this, the soundboard gets more powerful. That's right. Chatters, show your support for the soundboard right now by subscribing if you like. If you like the soundboard. Let your voice be heard with your subscription. If you say more soundboard, please. Subscribe now. Give subs now.
I'm going to come.
Seems to me like the people have voted once again with their dollars. They want to hear more soundboard, not less.
I'm gay and Lebanese.
I wrote my econ thesis on this. The best way to describe it is healthcare wouldn't be a part of the labor package, so more wage paid or paid vacation will have to fill that benefit void. Yes. Midwest Nice, thank you for the 5. Saw, thank you for the 5. As always, as is tradition, when we get a fucking influx of new subscribers that love the soundboard, we got to hit it one time.
We are Charlie Kirk.
It's so funny that Kaya knows when I'm getting a drink, she immediately lifts up her leg to get a belly scratch. She knows she's going to get a drive-by belly scratch. There's a sequel, by the way. Wait, what? To what? What? They made a second one? Bro, you already reached perfection. You already reached perfection. Why would you tarnish it? Ida's mom, thank you for the 10 gifted. Drop Dead Lexi, thank you for the 5. Tits and Macaroni, thank you for the 5. What the fuck is that? There's a part 2? They made a... That's crazy. Last, I promise, private healthcare plans have a deductible amount you pay out of pocket before insurance pays. Universal healthcare pays on day one. You don't have to avoid going to the doctor because you're short on money. Indirect, but still lowers bills. Yes, universal healthcare is the best policy. Straight up, is literally cheaper. It's only a little bit more expensive in what you pay for in your taxes than you would literally pay for right now if you're like super duper wealthy. You don't have to worry about that though. None of you motherfuckers have to worry about that. Okay? It's literally cheaper. It's cheaper across the board. What is this? He did it. Save us like rotisserie chicken. I can't get over it. That's crazy. That's crazy. She does look like rotisserie chicken. Saskatchewan is thinking of getting rid of public health care and moving 100% private. That's fucking devastating.
I would like to actually hear that the positives. I think we have a lot of distractions that have been going on towards the president. So I feel like he has to come forward and take that energy into that room and not make it sound like a lecture about what's going on in the world, because we are so close with the Democrats right now with just 3 seats to overturn midterm elections. So I feel like he really needs to take that with affordability, what we're going to be doing. Gas prices are down, things are changing. As much as people are very much against the tariffs, they are working for us. So I feel like the affordability.
Like, I mean, it's Fox News. So there's not going to be a follow up on this, but like, I just want to know when a Republican MAGA hog says that, I need to understand, like, what do you mean? Because the Trump administration doesn't even make you feel like it's helpful to you. Like Howard Lutnick and Scott Besson have made it very clear, especially Howard Lutnick has come out on television and been like, yeah, we're going to bring industry back. We're going to onshore industry, but it's not going to lead to like actual jobs. It's going to be factories filled to the brim with robots. So while there will be economic activity, it won't be helpful for you. So like, how could that be beneficial for someone like yourself? Are you going to get a job in the factory? No. This is the hypothetical scenario where there are any new jobs or any new factories being built on U.S. soil at all.
He will address it and that he will make it a positive one for us, because everything that he has said so far for us has come to fruition in some.
So you want a little bit of a victory lap.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I want to show you something. It is a recent Fox News poll showing voters want to see the issues of the economy, jobs, inflation, and prices as the president's top priorities going forward. So you guys are right on key. He obviously hears voters from every ilk because he's going to hit that hard tonight. I want to make a quick shift now, since you kind of went there a little bit, and you were sort of talking about, you know, in the president's speech, what he should do, but what you think he'll do. What about the protesting? Because that's something that Democrats have said that they could do. Dylan, I'm going to come to you. Do you anticipate that Democrats will protest, and what message does that send to the country?
I do anticipate that they will protest. I think the message that they're intending to send is that they're at odds with the president's policy and his administration, but this isn't something new, and I think voters may be tired of the theatrics, and I would say to them, let the president say his message and let the American people decide for themselves after that.
All right, real quickly, at least 3 dozen Democrats in Congress are protesting by skipping the president's address altogether. Some are instead attending a rally today sponsored by the far-left groups Move On and Midas Touch. So just to give you an idea, the protest from them will be they're not going to show up. Adam, I know you have some strong feelings about whether that room breaks out in Democratic protest tonight.
Yeah, I don't expect much of that at all. As you said, there are actually not only the People's State of the Union, but there's yet another protest event simultaneously called the State of the Swamp. And I think most of the representatives who don't want to be there won't be.
What am I, like, from the perspective of a person that says Midas Touch is far left, I want to know what they think I am. Like, if they think Adam Mockler is like an extremist, like, do they, what could I possibly be? Like, what's more extremist than the far left? I mean, they're saying like Midas Touch is far left extremism. So like, what am I? Am I just fucking Stalin? Is that, they literally think you're a terrorist? But like, yeah, I guess that's true. They're saying like Midas Touch is far left. Hasan is just a terrorist. Like he gets to operate as a domestic terrorist. That's got to be so funny to live in that world where you're literally like, if you encounter my analytics and you're like, oh, that guy Hassan Piker is a terrorist, and then you find out that I'm the largest leftist broadcast in North America. Like, what does that say? What does that say to you if you're like, this guy's a fucking terrorist, like a literal domestic terrorist? He's not even on the political spectrum in America. He also happens to routinely collaborate with like members of the Democratic Party, and he's like working to get Democrats elected. So like they're all obviously in on it. They're all a part of this like grand terrorism conspiracy. And he happens to be this like unfathomably popular figure in America. What does that say? What does that say to you about the electorate? Nah, they don't conceptualize it as much as we do. They barely have a superficial understanding. Because like I've spent a lot of time on this part of the equation where it's like, what does it say that there are a shit ton of Asmongold fans? Like, what does that say about what the market wants, right? Because bought it or not, Asmongold still has like a fairly sizable audience, and especially on YouTube, it's massive, right? So that to me says that like Republicans are looking for that kind of commentary. They're desperate for a guy who will just go, yeah, based, Donald Trump is awesome. We should be killing migrants, right? Or whatever the fuck he says on a daily basis. And all of your problems are because, blue-haired feminists exist. So it made a lot more sense when I found out that Asmongold's audience is like primarily European. It made me realize that it like having a universal fascist message that a lot of European right-wingers respond positively to, like that makes a lot more sense. My audience is mostly American, right? Overwhelmingly American. And a little bit in Canada too. So what does that fucking say? Zach is extremely liberal. He is not GOP. He's pro Bernie Sanders senator. In parentheses. Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling me Bernie Sanders is a senator. I didn't, when I was interviewing him the other day, I had no idea that he was a senator. That's what they think. You are bringing about the downfall of American values. You are a psyop to radicalize our children. Yeah. Zach is extremely liberal is so funny. One, first problem here, mentioning Asmongold by his government name as though you know him. Put batteries in the fire alarm. I'm not going to do that. Shut the fuck up, okay? And secondly, no, under no circumstance can you say that a person is liberal if they're literally fucking demanding the mass deportation of all migrants, claiming that like, black and brown individuals of migrant background are a parasitic force on American soil. These are not liberal values at all. Okay? I think it's still the Red Scare for the normie world. You're either seen as a communist or just wanting to completely shatter the USA system. So ironic, I know. No, I don't think most normies think of me like that. We're talking about the right. For the right, they think I'm a terrorist. And I know for the pro-Israel liberals, they also think I'm a terrorist. But for most people, they look at me and they go, okay, he's making some reasonable fucking points. Even if they don't know who I am or if they've never actually encountered my perspective at all, there are so many Americans out there from all different backgrounds that unironically recognize that feel that same anger that I feel, right? That feel that same exact anger and frustration that we all feel in this community. The resentment that they have towards Donald Trump, the anger that they feel towards the duopoly, towards both parties seemingly never really putting working class individuals first and foremost in their campaign and in their legislative agenda, but instead constantly getting money from the machine and constantly defending the interests of the super wealthy, corporations and the like. An anger and resentment that they have towards the Epstein class, anger and resentment that they have towards not getting the democratic wishes across, no matter how hard they fight for it, right? There are a lot of issues where we unite on, no matter how far right an individual may be, right? Unlimited support to Israel is a great example of this. Nobody fucking wants it, yet it happens all the time. Seemingly, both parties are completely united on that message, right? Another one is obviously taxing billionaires, taxing mega corporations, People don't want that. Another uniting message is lowering the cost of housing in this country. Whichever way it gets done, most people don't give a shit. They want it. They want it really bad because it's something that they need for survival. Universal health care is another value or another issue that we can all unite on. Asmongold is not MAGA. He's a fucking grifter. He goes where the money goes. This is from someone that's watched him for years, since the early days of WoW. You only noticed this when you followed him for a very long time. I mean, I've said that already. He is MAGA right now. What? Ayo, sorry, but you accuse Asmongold's chat of being dead with 30,000. This shit got the chat of a 10K stream, not gonna lie, not being a dick, just saying. Do you really want the chat to start spamming? Because you understand that I'm pausing the chat, right? Now that you said that, everyone's gonna start fucking spamming. Good job.
Be there, and so I don't expect to see.
Now
much
you
in the
bricked
way
the
of
fucking
theatrics.
chat.
Do you think that's okay? Are you good with the patriotism that's obviously different for those people?
Yes, I think that there's a way that patriotism as a concept is wielded so that it forces you to behave a certain way when everything in you screams to that what you're seeing up on that podium is just wrong. And then somebody brings down the hammer, oh, but patriotism. I don't see what you're doing for the country by sitting there and applauding dutifully at every third sentence.
I grew up a military brat. I see patriotism as love for the country. It's a little bit different. It's not a concept. It's a dedication and a feeling. But Dwayne, what do you say to Adam on that point?
I think we're just falling into tribalism, to where if you don't agree with the president, it's okay to be disrespectful to the country. It's okay to be disrespectful to the Constitution and not to have civility. As a person that was a teacher, students would say things that other students didn't disagree with. I didn't say it was okay to just walk outside the classroom, because we expect a certain decorum and a certain level of class and civility that we all have as Americans. And what we're seeing now with the left is because they didn't get their way, even though Barack Obama deported as many people more than President Trump, even though he talked about tariffs. Now a lot of things that were common sense before they disagree with because it's politically advantageous, they think it's okay to now scream and leave the room. And we're seeing a collapse of what we just consider civility in our country.
Yes, I understand, like the civility and decorum of January 6th. That's
okay.
That was
or we
great
could talk
civility
about
and decorum.
as many times as agents have came under attack in Minneapolis, and they've done nothing about that.
Agents,
So
yes.
yes,
They're
federal
just
agents, federal agents,
right?
Yeah.
Who are masked and running around.
Right.
Okay, so I guess it's okay to attack.
brutalizing people who don't deserve it.
How
So
many
as we
people
spoke
have been
before,
killed?
it's
How many
not-
people have been killed by illegal immigrants in this country? Does that
Not
matter?
that many.
Okay.
In fact, of all the
We have an Angel Family Day as of yesterday, and so this network, I don't know what the others did, carried live those family members. And so those numbers are detrimental to the reputation of what you're saying.
We're not saying that it doesn't
Facts
happen.
don't
So
pull out
then,
what you're saying. Real quickly, Jay, I want to get you in, and then we're going
thrilled
to
when
move
their
on.
family members get killed by white Americans, right? I mean,
Adam, I said you had a lot of
Ooh. Fight, fight, fight.
strong feelings.
We're not saying that it
I
doesn't
wanna
happen.
hear from Jay.
We're not saying that it doesn't happen. What we're saying is that number is so small that the response is not proportional. The amount of money that's being poured into it is not proportional.
So we had
They are
north of 11 million, some estimates much more than that come in. Those people
Bro, Trump is fucking cooked, dude. I'm sorry. He's so fucking cooked. He better hold on to that cult, man. I mean, dude, this past weekend, a 21-year-old white American from North Carolina traveled from his home in North Carolina, went into a Walmart, and purchased a gas canister and a shotgun. His final destination was Mar-a-Lago. His attempt was to kill the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. This didn't even make a blip in the news because a lot of white boys are trying to kill the president, seemingly. The other reason why I'm bringing this up, however, is because he was once again a fucking Trump supporter. Okay? He was a Trump supporter. He was mad about the Epstein files. He got shot and killed by Secret Service before he could make his way into Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump wasn't even at Mar-a-Lago. He was in the White House that weekend. This is now the fourth former Trump supporter turned into a likely Trump assassin situation. Okay? Ryan Ruth obviously was a NATO defender and wanted to kill Trump because he loves NATO and Trump was going to break NATO. He wanted to defend Ukraine. Also a former Trump supporter. It's crazy. Wait, it's not four. Sorry, it's the third. How do you make this make sense? The most annoying line in MAGA world, and there are a lot, is that they tried to kill Trump. They, who is they? The president keeps getting attacked by his own supporters. Breaking, the 21-year-old man shot dead after entering Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and gas canister on Sunday was an outspoken Christian, a strong Trump supporter, and obsessed with the cover-up of the Epstein files, according to people who knew him. He, even in his own cult, at the edges of his own cult, are people who are, very invested in conspiracy theories. And when those conspiracy theories became reality, they wanted to take action. So where does this go? Where does this go? How do you build a movement? How do you keep your movement when you're not offering them the treats or even the material improvements that you claimed you were going to bring about? When you are just very clearly going, I love the Epstein pedophiles. I am one of them. I will defend them unconditionally. You deserve less. You deserve less if you live in the American heartland. It's breaking people's fucking brains. They never want to admit that it's always friendly fire. I know. It's always friendly fire. It really be your own stands being your biggest ops. Listen, this is an experience that I am very familiar with, intimately familiar with. A lot of people who become massive fans of mine, become parasocialists, and spend months and months in this community giving $5 in subscriptions, voluntary subscriptions they don't even need to give. And then one day they say something because they disagree with me and they say something that is outrageous and I respond to them and I say, you're a fucking idiot. And then from that day on, they are my number one ops. Okay? It happens. It happens all the time. Okay? I'm sure there are some who have actually experienced a change in attitude towards my commentary because of my usage of the soundboard. There's new fans coming in every day and there's new haters coming in every day. The moment you yell at me, it's over, buddy. I would never yell at you, Sarah Rattay. Imagine not being able to get called a fucking idiot multiple times before without becoming the Joker. Couldn't be me. Well, I also have a consistent message that I have championed for the last 13 years. Donald Trump does not have a consistent message that he's championed for the last 13 years. That's the other side of the story. And the message that I have consistently defended is one that benefits the working class. Trump's consistent message is one that, at times when it is consistent, benefits his pedophilic elite buddies. And as the president, if he's not actually doing things that improve people's living conditions, they're going to start getting mad. How do you continue a movement like this? You just can't. Obsessed with you, bro. I just learned you exist today. 58-month subscriber. More than 70 House Democrats and one independent have announced they will skip President Trump's State of the Union address tonight, and that number continues to rise as additional lawmakers join the boycott. I love you, but you have yelled at me so much, less than average Joe. And you're mean? Yeah, sometimes I'm mean. It's hard, man. There's a fucking arena full of people in here, and they all can talk to me at any given moment. And sometimes y'all do say some dumb shit. Sometimes sometimes I can't be my cheery self. Okay? And I apologize for that. But the uniting principle in this community is our advocacy, is our worldview, is not whether you like everything that I'm saying at any given moment or not. It's about the broader message, the broader movement. You have to remember that. You can't just like drop your worldview, your perspective, your advocacy, the things that you believe in because, you know, the streamer yelled at you. You got to have a moral backbone. You know, you're cheerful usually. Sometimes I am. When I'm hitting the fucking... That's when I'm at my most cheerful.
Should not be in the country if they are here illegally. And I know on the left what many of you will say, and I look at you, Adam, because you say you're a progressive. You say you're independent, but progressive isn't a party. So you're much farther left than the moderates in your party. And you agree with that. That many illegal...
You're a little too right-wing. True.
Aliens coming in who were not vetted. This is what we have been handed as a nation. And we must think of it that way, not as an individual party, one way or the other. And if some of us are hurting and being killed, that hurts all of us, right? And so it takes a force to...
Yeah, not when ICE is doing the killing, though. When some of us are hurt, we're all hurt. Only when it's like some random fucking undocumented migrant that's responsible for one murder in a nation where there are thousands of murders happening. 1,000 specifically in the hands of the police, and many more thousands in the hands of American citizens, American-born citizens. But that one murder is significant. Why? Because it actually corresponds to a policy agenda that we're trying to design here to do propaganda over endlessly. Of course, when it's ICE that kills random American citizens that are protesting against ICE activities, that are kidnapping 600,000 plus American neighbors, you know, living on U.S. soil, some of which are documented, some of which is documentation is expired, you know, that sort of thing. Then it's fine. It's just, you know, it's the cost of doing business.
Do that. Barack Obama had 57 deaths on his watch and never talked about it in those incidences. You're nodding. You know this. That's a fact, right? Never talked about it.
No,
5 billion people.
Bro, this is supposed to be a panel. Dude, this is supposed to be a panel where she's supposed to ask questions and hear what their perspective is. And it turned into a fucking debate because she hates what some of the panelists are saying. That is awesome. Lady, this is not a lecture. This is a panel. The fuck are you doing? Bring Frank Luntz in.
Illegally
Barack Obama
here
was
left.
the deportingest president we ever had.
Deporting us. I'm going to let you take your vocabulary and challenge it that way. All right, let's talk patriotism in a different way. The U.S. hockey team. Did you guys watch that game? Show of hands. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I lived in the state of hockey in Minnesota for a while, so maybe I'm overly joyed. But talk about patriotism. They are now going...
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back. Remember, we won gold. Come on, hockey. We won gold. Remember that. Doesn't that make you feel better? I know you're talking about irrelevant shit like, you know, cost of living, ICE murders happening in fucking, in American cities and stuff. But like, remember hockey? Hockey was sick, right?
To the White House to see this president taking some criticism for being invited to the State of the Union tonight. I want to go around and just get an idea. Kevin, I haven't come to you. Your thoughts?
Well, I think, again, it comes back to decorum. If you're invited to come to the State of the Union, to the White House, you have to set politics aside. It's just the way we should function in this country, and decorum has been in check for a while, I think. So I think it's okay that they go. You know, there shouldn't be a debate about that.
Like, what is this conversation? They asked, like, what are some of your top line issues? Okay. And everyone's universally saying affordability. And in order to land this fucking plane and avoid a plane crash, she's like, well, what about people yelling at the hockey team for visiting the White House, going to the State of the Union address? It's like, who cares? What the fuck?
I think it really comes back to our start of our conversation, which is about the economy. Everybody's focused.
Say fuck Jack Hughes or don't come back to Canada. listen, I am an American, okay? So I will say, as much as I love Canada, America did actually do the damn thing. They were the underdogs. I love an underdog story. I apologize, but, you know, they fucking did it, bro. Turn this shit off. It's so
and
ass.
what are we
No.
going to do about that? Healthcare, food, everything is going
And
up.
he'll get to that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the hockey team. Maria.
I think my favorite part
Yeah, let's get the entire panel's take on the hockey team.
towards the end, I just caught a clip of it. I did not actually get to watch the game. Was when they went and got the children onto their teammates who had passed away from a drunk driver. They made sure that those kids were actually involved and made that a huge part of them, you know, that just said that we're one, we're together, we're here. And I think it's a great thing that they're going to the White House for this. Outside, we do have a lot of sports, and it's a big part of America.
I work for Canadian Border Patrol. You ain't coming back after that, brother. I am not even remotely worried about you because I know there's going to be like 8 Asian baddies that are also working next to you, and I will rizz them up to be able to enter the country with ease. Someone's up. Look. Hello. Are we bored? What's going on? What's going on? Okay. What the fuck, you millennial? Yeah. How much did you guys like Kash Patel, the FBI director, chugging beers with the boys?
Whether it's football, whether it's baseball, hockey, absolutely. If you're invited, you should go.
Dylan.
Well, first of all, what a game. And
I know, right?
second of all, I think this...
Can you explain why you're a pro-sex worker again? It's not a gotcha. It's a genuine question because it feels a bit out of place for the rest of your commentary. It's not out of place for the rest of my commentary. It's labor. All labor should be protected.
Back to an earlier point, may dampen some of the ability for the Democrats to protest because we're bringing in American patriots, and I think that you know, to celebrate America, especially on the eve of having won such a big game, should unite us left and right.
Do you think it will, Jay?
I don't think it will unite us, but I think that they're...
In that room, you don't think they'll get a standing O?
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm talking about the country at large. I don't think it will unite us, and but in that room, yes. And I don't have any issue with them going. As mentioned, like, if you're invited to the State of the Union, and you can put the politics aside, if you have adverse, go. If you cannot because you are so inclined or you feel that that is your patriotic duty to not go, don't. But I don't have any feeling either way to
Come on, man.
or not.
All right, show of hands, who's watching the State of the Union tonight? Oh my goodness. You know, well, that brought you all together. Look at that, everybody agreed on that. Great to have you all. Thank you. Voters' Voice is always a pleasure.
Thank God we got united on the hockey situation.